Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. I'm Crash Razzle, and it's once again time to Crash Scouts with another Top 5 video. Now, you ready to hear some painful irony? I actually started recording this video last week, so it's been exactly 7 days since I tried to record this video. Hilariously, while I was in the middle of talking about Tarklaps, which is going to be a Skylander I'm going to talk about in the future, spoilers, I got a phone call, so I had to scrap the video and answer the phone call. A little bit of painful irony there. When I just started recording, of course my phone rang. I had to answer it with my parents because they were in town, so I had to answer it, so I scrapped the video. Then I just didn't film it until a week later. Which is painfully ironic because that video could have had some great potential, just like the Skylanders we're going to be talking about today. Because today, we're going to be talking about the top 5 scrapped Skylanders. So this list is my personal opinion. I looked through a bunch of scrapped ones. Of course, I watched Skylander Gamer TV's video on it. It was an excellent video. If you guys haven't seen that, if I remember, I'll put a link in the description. If not, let me know, because this is future me recording. Editing me is completely different, and uploading me is a whole other person. Jeez, oh, that poor dude. Regardless, if you guys want more details on all of those, you can definitely go check out his video. He did talk about it before I did, but I decided to make my own video here. This is also not going to be just strictly Skylanders that were scrapped in together. There's also some variants that I thought would work, so we're going to be discussing them in the video. So, if you guys are ready, we are excited to hop into the top 5 here and talk about 5 Skylanders that you might have even known existed. So let's hop right in to number 5. Kicking off our list at number 5 is Tarklaps, aka the Cyclops Snail. So you guys may have actually seen this one because when Skylanders was first getting released, this was the Skylander that was going to be in the starter pack. It was going to be along with Spyro, Tarklaps, and another Skylander, which I don't know if they ever revealed which one that is. If they did, let me know in the comments because I'm not sure. I couldn't really find that one when I was researching. But if you look at Tarklaps, he's an interesting looking Skylander. The first thing I look at is he feels like an enemy. He doesn't feel like a real Skylander. But here's the thing that really messed me up. When I was reading his description, he had a slime trail that he would make. He would have electrical shots while he's shouting, and I'm like, that sounds very familiar, because it sounds just like Zap. Well, this is Zap. Tarklaps was actually an early development stage when he was Cyclops Snail that turned into Zap. But interesting enough, when I was doing a little research, he started off as Cyclops Snail with the moves of Zap, basically. Then they decided, since he was already purple, they didn't want to have him because Spyro's already purple. You can't have 2 starter purple Skylanders. Like, come on. Cinder. Regardless, Cinder wasn't started in the first game, was she? No, she wasn't. Regardless. The biggest thing was that they decided to change him up, make him blue, and turn him into Tar, like he was going to be Tarklaps. But at the end of it, the creators were like, I don't know, they just scrapped him all together. He actually did have a physical figure release, which was really cool. You can see it all over the internet there. But this one here could have been where Zap was. Think about that for a second. Zap couldn't even have existed, and it could have been Tarklaps the entire time. But this Skylander, I think, could have had some awesome potential because he feels like he would be an enemy. He's a water type, by the way, a water element. But I feel like this Skylander could have been an enemy, and he does have a reference in a later game, if you guys didn't know, in Trap Team. He's the Gloop Hat. So you can go put him on Zap and be like, haha, king alright. But number 5 is Tarklaps. Number 4 on the list is a Skylander that was supposed to be in Swap Force named Kraken. So Kraken is a cool looking Skylander. I absolutely love the design of this one. It's another water Skylander. It seems like they scrap water Skylanders a lot. But the biggest thing is you look at the design, there's 2 things very familiar with it. First of all, it looks kind of like Punk Shock, don't you think? Yeah, it's pretty much looking like Punk Shock. And the fact that he has a sentient head on his hand that shoots bubbles. Kind of like Washbuckler. So unfortunately, Kraken didn't become a final Skylander because out of the playtesting, when the kids were testing it out, they weren't really a fan. It was the least liked version of all the prototypes that were there, which came with an unnamed bird Skylander and another Skylander I'll be talking about a little bit later. But they were really confused with his bubble move because Kraken used to shoot out these bubbles that were non-harming. They wouldn't hurt, so what's the point of the bubbles, right? So what they did was they repurposed Kraken into 2 other Skylanders, Washbuckler and Punk Shock, and then completely revamped Kraken and turned it into Riptide. Those are 3 of my favorite Skylanders. So out of Kraken was basically a phoenix, like Sunburn, and out of the ashes rose 3 awesome Skylanders with Washbuckler, Punk Shock, and Riptide. And that's what I find really cool, the fact that they didn't completely scrap the Skylander, throw it away, don't care about it. They repurposed it into 3 other awesome Skylanders, and that's one of the reasons Kraken is definitely one of my favorites. I could see this Skylander being really popular later on. I could see maybe in like Superchargers or Imagineers, but for Swap Force, I understand why this would have been interesting, but it would have been cool to maybe switch out Kraken with like Magnacharge's body. Kraken. It didn't have 2 names, that was weird. But regardless, Kraken gets number 4 on our list. Number 3 on our list is a Skylander I just mentioned that I was going to talk about. It's Aftershock. So if you guys don't know Aftershock, first of all, look how cool this Skylander looks. But the first thing you're probably noticing is he has mace hands. That's very interesting. Kind of like a certain fist bump in the future. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. When I read the definition of Aftershock, the fact that this could have been the replacement for either Scorp or Slobbertooth, which I don't find both of them the most amazing. Slobbertooth, Walmart Bash and Scorpion, I was kind of mad. But then later on with Fist Bump, we did get this Skylander because Aftershock was actually one of the favorites out of all the 3 that they show. They had an unnamed bird Skylander, Kraken, and Aftershock. And Aftershock was definitely one of the most popular ones. His moveset was really cool. He had these mace hands that would slam down, and he also used to do like earth fissures, kind of like what Fist Bump does when he lays down and the path comes out. But he also had a roll attack like Baby Boy Bash here. So think Fist Bump with a roll attack. Would be pretty cool, right? That was Aftershock. But they honestly decided to scrap him in the end. I don't know why. This would have been a perfect Skylander to have. But as I mentioned, he did get repurposed and re-brought in as Fist Bump in Track Team. But it's also his tail. He had a little like scorpion tail. That's got the inspiration for Scorp. So the good news about all these Scrapped Skylanders is they all got something built for them and brought into Skylanders themselves, which I found was really cool. So Aftershock, definitely one of my favorites. This should have been a Skylander. I'm pretty disappointed he isn't, but it would have been really cool to see him in the game. But regardless, Aftershock is number 3 on our list. So number 2 on our list is actually one that only came into play not too long ago. I think it was last year when it got revealed. And that's kind of the inspiration why I was talking about Scrapped Skylanders. It's the Vicarious Visions Windup. Look how cool this thing looks. This is a variant that was supposed to be released. I think there's a code you can get, like you can put it on like an NFC chip and put it in your game. I'm not going to do that. I do have NFC cards, so I can definitely do it. But Vicarious Visions Windup was a really cool variant. It was definitely an employee exclusive, so imagine having something like that. I can see this Skylander being really cool outside of the game, because not only is Windup awesome, Windup deserves way more credit than he actually gets, but this version looks amazing. I think it's so cool to represent Vicarious Visions. It's one of the coolest things that it shows all of his colors. It shows Windup being awesome, and Vicarious Visions being a tech company. Makes sense, he's a tech Skylander. So this variant is definitely one of my favorites. I'm very bummed that this was not part of a future game or came out later. I wish this was a real thing, because I wish I worked at Vicarious Visions so I could have got this thing. Wouldn't that be crazy? Imagine having this Skylander in your collection and it doesn't even exist. Which is sad, because it never got released to the public. There's videos of it, there's gameplay, there's pictures of it, but it didn't get released to the public, and that's the most bummer thing. So Vicarious Visions number 2. Vicarious Visions number 2. Vicarious Visions Windup is getting number 2 on her list. In a way, I'm going to say rip Vicarious Visions, because I think they kind of molded into just doing Call of Duty gameplay now. Which, I mean, I do like their zombies mode, but I'd rather a Skylander game. Number 2. Vicarious Visions. And number 1 on our list, I did 2 for some reason. Number 1 on our list is Heartbreaker Buckshot. There's no bigger disappointment than seeing this Skylanders variant be released. Saying that there's a Valentine's Day variant coming in. The Valentine's Day variants are really cool. We also have Love Potion Pop Fizz, which was one of my favorites. There's a Valentine's Day one for Supercharged, if I'm not mistaken. I completely forget which one it is. There's an Easter one. We'll talk about Easter ones in a future video. Or it's already out. That'd be awkward. Regardless though, Heartbreaker Buckshot was announced to the public. They had a gameplay video of it. The figures were actually made, but then they thought he looked too scary to be released in the public. Think about that. A Skylander that looks too scary? It's a Valentine's Day variant. We're not that dumb. It literally broke our hearts. It's a Heartbreaker Buckshot when this Skylander didn't get released to the public. Now, you can get customs of the Skylander. My dude, Skylander dude, Ryan, made a custom, sent it to my boy Striker Hero Camo, and it looks amazing, but it's just regular Buckshot. This Skylander could have been one of the coolest, awesomest, and one of the most rarest Skylanders, in my opinion, if it were to come out. I would have loved to have this variant in real life, but it's just too scary. It's too scary, guys. Like, when you have a game with all these other characters, you know? You get all these other characters. Heartbreaker Buckshot's variant was just too scary. He had red glowing eyes. It's too much. What a horrible thing to get scrapped. This amazing looking variant. But that's why it's number one. Because of the fact that everyone was upset about that. And the fact that that was kind of the end of Skylanders once that was officially cancelled. But Skylanders isn't dead. It's only dead if we let it die. Someone very handsome said that once. It was me. Number one is Heartbreaker Buckshot. And that does it for my top 5 Scrapped Skylanders. Thank you so much for watching this video. You're probably saying to yourself, Krakatoa, where's Krakatoa? Krakatoa was a rumor. Krakatoa was not real. That's the difference. He was not scrapped. He didn't even exist. Krakatoa was a dumb thing. I don't know why anyone even thought that was real. Regardless, thank you so much for watching this video. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. Let me know other Scrapped Skylanders you think I should have talked about, or a Scrapped Skylander I maybe don't even know about. I did do a research and I looked through a bunch of them. The unnamed bird Skylander, unfortunately, may have a name. We just don't know. It's kind of wild to think about. These awesome Skylanders got repurposed into other awesome Skylanders, so I do like that. But thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, let me know. Leave a like and a comment below, and come back for more videos in the future. I do a lot of top 5s, and I got a lot of top 5s coming. I tell you that. I'll tell you what. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time, or next week. But as always, I bid you farewell.